in 16 Lombard Street, where we were earlier today. And they recruited throughout the country by walking. Joseph Denny, Thomas Luby Clark and James Stephens walked the length and breadth of this country recruiting for the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhoods. We're going to be attending John O'Mahony's grave shortly, who coincided with the foundation in New York, in Dohenys, on the same day in 1858. Now, James Stephens went into exile and died a pauper, unfortunately, like most people within the IRB, in 1901. And his coffin was draped with our tricolour flag the day he was brought here to be buried in 1901. What the men and women of the IRB have achieved has been documented and is on the billymaguire.com website. And I really don't have much else to say.
Well, they went to Paris himself and
right.
John O'Mahony.
Yeah.
And that was a very important link, you know.
It was indeed, and it was true. Their involvement and their witnessing the genocide of our Irish people in what's commonly known as a famine, but we know it was a genocide of our people that spurred on this movement. They were the sons and grandsons of the United Irishmen who fought in 1798, and you know, there was no religious or community divide. There were united Irish men and women who fought for our freedom. And as our proclamation states, that in every generation the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty, and that's what we carry on to this day.
We hope they're going to do it now.
Well, we are doing
it now. It's so important, and that's what we're doing here today. We're doing the very same as they said, and it's so important that, you know, the Fenians were around, and so were the Young Irelanders, and it's down from that movement all the time. But the difference between the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood that were founded here today is that they achieved the sovereign Dáil government for the people, for the welfare of our people, the right and welfare of the sovereign Irish people. That's what it's about. They achieved it. It was all achieved on the 21st of January 1919 under the 1918 32 county election. And that was crucial, because the rising was one thing, but setting up the sovereign Dáil government, that's what it was all about. And they achieved it, and they were the first Irish people, I suppose, to achieve that. And we still hold it. That's why we still do it. It's there, and all young people should know that's where you come from. You have a right, and let nobody look you in the eye and say, you're a sovereign citizen, is what you are. And you have a right to the first four strings, earth, air, fire and water, man's intellect and reason and your five senses. And that's the sunship and the moonship, and they're the harp signs. And when I hold that tricolour flag, you see me holding it with the harp sign. And you see the Pope giving the blessing. That's what he gives, the harp sign. And you put the two together, and there you are. There it is there for you. And it's on.
The covenant between God and man.
And that is the covenant between God and man, with all the information and knowledge for his planet Earth and our civilization. And that's what's left to you by your ancestors. And we're renewing that again today, and for your children and your grandchildren. They'll never forget where they come from and how to achieve our civilization. All technology comes from the harp, as we know. The first four strings is the first computer known to mankind. It's God's gift to mankind. And we should appreciate what it is. And that's all we're asking to do. All we want is our sovereign Dáil government, and to leave our people achieve their sovereignty and God's wishes and God's grace. That's all we're asking. You know, and we're not a religious organisation, but we respect religions and we respect people and what they try to do. We abhor war, violence, crime, propaganda, lies and deception, and fake news out. We don't want any of that. And we want asking in Europe, please recognise our sovereign Dáil government. You're using our tricolour flag and you're using our sovereign seal of Dáil, and we want that to be legitimate, legal, valid and bona fide. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We shall move on to John O'Mahony's grave. It's just such a pity it's a damp day, isn't it?
Yeah.